Welcome to Quit to Win, the show where we explore the moment people had to let go of destructive pattern, limiting identity, and the internal battles to rebuild their life with purpose and clarity. Today's guest is Shante Alexander, organizational psychologist, speaker, certified coach, and author of The Emotional Cost of Clarity. She helps successful driven people sit with the questions many are afraid to admit. I built the life I was supposed to want. So why doesn't it feel the way I thought it would? Her work express the hidden emotional costs of success and what happened when the pattern that helped us achieve start quietly keeping us stuck. Her turning point came when her marriage ended suddenly and she had to confront not just what she needed to heal from, but a deeper pattern: over functioning, over giving, people pleasing, proving her worth through achievement that shaped her choice all along. Uh, what made her stay no longer had options in her world, the realization that the clarity she found in that unraveling became the foundation for learning to stop being the strong one and rebuild from the alignment instead. It's really a pleasure and honor to have you on the show, Chantel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. So Chantel, before the marriage ended, you had likely been the strong one for a long time in your career, your relationship, your family. What did that rose give you, and what was it quietly costing you the whole time?
Good question. So, being that strong one, what it gave me is almost in a lot of ways purpose. I was the one that you can rely, especially emotionally. I was the one you could rely on. You can you could kind of dump your stuff on, and you can talk it through. I could make you feel better. So, what it initially gave me was that sense of usefulness, that sense of being needed. And so when you come from that space, like that drives every action you probably take is less about looking at what you need and what your capacity is and thinking about what can I give? What can I produce
Yeah,
for this person or for this thing? And so what it started to cost me was one, my own sense of self, my own voice, because when you are putting others first constantly in an unhealthy way, you don't give yourself the space to say, what do I need? Where am
yeah.
I at? Like either literally times I've gotten out of my own sick bed to help a friend who was sick.
Oh,
And there's nothing, yeah, you hear it, right?
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking care of others, but it was unhealthy. So it was just getting to a point where I was disappearing. And so that was the cost.
Oh, really a whole lot. The business was the purpose, and it's really a whole lot
Mhm.
getting to find yourself in the midst of it. As far doing was what you find yourself as. Yeah, the big deal. As far you have a sense of fulfillment from that doing compared to when you're not doing. Ouch, a lot here. Uh, so you have described overfunctioning, overgiving, and people pleasing as patterns that shape your choice. Where did you first learn that those were the way you earn safety or love?
I think I knew that all along, but I didn't have the language for it until
Mm,
last year. That was the catalyst of starting me writing my book. Um, Once I recognized something I've coined guarded giving. So I was always, and I'm still that person, the type that you can call me anytime. If you need something, I'm going to be there. However, I do it with a wall almost. I'm guarded with it. So I'm not the person that you probably speak to every day about your day to day things. When my phone rings, I'm usually looking at it and it's like, okay, what's happening? What does this person
yeah.
what are they calling me for? And I automatically get in that zone of problem solving kind of zone. But it starts to have a take a toll on you because if you're the one
yeah.
everyone's calling you to help, who are you calling? And so it's that guarded giving piece. It's not that you're not giving because you don't care, but you're giving with the boundary. So people can't
Mm,
get so close to you because the closer they get to you, the more you feel like you're going to have to keep
yeah.
giving.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like it's
It is actually. And I think that's the anxiety. So I think I was hearing a friend of mine make reference over the other time that some persons have, will I say, this fear of picking up calls, right? And I think they just come from the fact that sometimes they are the one performing in the relationship. They are the one performing when people have to reach out. So receiving calls and having to receive those particular things become another intriguing moment. They are wondering, you're thinking 10 to 3 steps ahead. What could this call be about? Uh, yeah, amazing. Amazing.
Actually I keep my phone on mute. I'm not gonna even
Oh,
lie. I keep it 90% of the time. So often they like, "I've been trying to reach you for I don't know how long. Why don't you ever pick up the phone?" Because I to hear the phone ring, it just
yeah.
triggers
Yeah.
some
Oh,
and so, yeah, I'm like, that has to change because that makes absolutely no sense. That is
yeah.
no way to live.
Yeah. So your marriage ending suddenly is a kind of raptures that doesn't ask permission. What did you have to quit believing about your own life almost overnight?
So, when my marriage ended, it wasn't the grief that came wasn't even just about the marriage. The marriage ending was the catalyst for me seeing my whole pattern. Why was I drawn to this type of person? Why was I drawn to this marriage?
Hmm.
It felt familiar for a reason. And so once, I was in a space where I had the space to reflect on it, what I realized was that I've been showing up as this person my whole life. I've been the people pleaser. I've been the strong one. I've been the perfectionist. So choosing this person and being in this marriage wasn't something new. It was what I knew.
Hmm.
It was the only thing, honestly, that I knew. And so once that happened, I had to take that step back and say, okay, I can't keep choosing the same thing over and over again. And I think that's the hardest thing that people have to choose, have to decide. Like you said, quit to win. What are you
Yeah.
willing to quit so that you can win something? I always think of Fantasia, like win to lose. You
Yeah.
got to let something go so you can get the thing that's best meant for how you're designed to become. And that was the hard piece, and it's still the hard piece. Still the thing I'm working through is how do I stop being who I was
Hmm.
conditioned to be so I could start
Yeah.
becoming who I'm designed to become?
How do I stop being who I am now? Yeah, becoming the version I need to be. And I think those particular questions are really key, though they don't happen until you get to kind of hit those intriguing moments where the whole world look as though it's crashing at you and you don't have any choice than to look deeply inward. And it's, it's a lot.
You hit the
Yeah.
and it's tragic that we have to wait till the breakdown,
Yeah.
until the thing, like, makes us stop, and that's what I'm hoping having these conversations will do for people. Take the time to stop and reflect
Mm,
before you're forced to.
yeah.
Like, we don't do that. We are on autopilot. We keep going from goal to next goal to achievement to next achievement, and we don't stop to think, why? Why am I doing this? Why do I want this? Who
Mm,
told me this is what success is supposed to look like?
yeah.
We inherit stories. I call them fairy tales of success. We inherit stories and we're told, get this thing. And it's not even necessarily
Yeah.
the thing that's wrong. It's what do we think getting that thing is going to give us?
Mm,
When you get the house, what feeling did you think it was going to give you?
mm,
When you get the marriage, what feeling did you think you were going to get? Et cetera, et cetera. And so giving yourself the space and time to just reflect and recognition. Recognition is the first step to becoming.
yeah. Give yourself space and time to, being able to think about towards things. Yeah, having to question a whole lot of things. To who defines success? What is success is to you? And not just taking out what people define as the template, but you looking at it critically from your own end that, who defined this success? I don't think this success to me, and I have to do it a different way. Yeah, amazing. So you wrote the emotional cost of clarity in real time. Why were you
Yes.
still inside the unraveling? What did you have to quit needing? Certain resolution, a clean ending in order to write it honestly as it happened.
Mhm. Whew, great question. I was in it because that's when the recognition was coming through. It
Yeah,
was the lens through which I was able to start to see things differently. It wouldn't have come before that because I wasn't ready. I didn't have the
yeah,
capacity for I was too busy surviving.
yeah.
So when I was able to clear the air, clear the environment, that is the process that started to happen, getting down to who Shante was. Why, like I said, why was I giving the way I was giving? What parts of me did I love that I wanted to carry forward in a healthy way? And which parts of me just I needed to let go? It just was not working and it wasn't conducive to who I needed to become to be successful and to thrive. And so every single chapter is that next chapter. It was me healing in chronological order,
Mm.
quite honest. Each chapter represents the thing I needed to learn in that moment so that I can move to that next step. And that was the whole catalyst. That was the whole piece. And it was so overwhelming. It was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
overwhelming. I boo-hooed and cried almost every single day, and not just mourning what I lost, but mourning not the loss, like I said, of the marriage, but mourning myself. Like, oh my gosh, I thought I knew me. I have a degree in psychology. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a coach. I
Yeah.
coached hundreds of people. How did I not see that my whole life was one big, huh? This is not it. So yeah, that was the process. It was the catalyst because it was the healing process for me in real time. And I love that concept. I love that it was that way because I'm not speaking to people through hindsight, through I've arrived here. And so I can tell you what it is you need to do. When I'm speaking to people, I'm speaking to them from the space of recognition. I want to be their mirror. I want to be the person when they're speaking to me, they could look up and say,
Mm.
oh my gosh, that's experience. Oh my gosh, she has the language for the
Yeah.
thing I've been trying to say for the longest. And that I'm walking along this road with you. I don't have I'm still becoming. So when I'm speaking to people, I want that to come off very, very clearly. I'm not coming from the space, this is the expert.
Yeah.
I'm just coming from the space. I could be your mirror right now. Let's walk this together.
Yeah. Yeah. This is really amazing. And you just people to hold them to something I've been thinking about that. Yeah. Being a financial analyst or studying accounting and everything doesn't mean you won't get into debt because it's it's a whole of English stuff that you have to dig deeper and look inward to come out from, not just the studying of the course and being just where you make reference of being the psychologist. There's no I tell you more like I'll take that particular part out of it until that particular situation happened that forced you to actually look inward to see what beyond what I know. I think there's deeply things I need to look inward and learn from other than from the various courses that I hadn't addressed owing to the fact that you haven't looked inward, and it's really, really amazing. Yeah. Oh.
Mhm.
Um, so how did your work change once your expertise became personal?
It gave me frameworks,
Mm.
so many over the past year, there are so many bits and pieces. I've always been a strategic creative person, love ideas. But last year, what started was all these great ideas, but I had no connection to it. It felt
Mm.
like all these different pieces that I was getting understanding on, but I didn't know how they were coming together. And literally just in the past 2 days, it I saw the whole picture. I saw the
Oh.
framework all coming together, all these steps. So one of the key frameworks that I'm recognizing that is that journey towards becoming is it includes recognition, it
Mm.
includes clarity, includes becoming. You can't become something that you can't see yet, that you can't
Mm.
tell needs to shift. That's where that recognition piece comes in. You can't, once you know something, knowing something doesn't automatically mean you're going to do something
Yeah.
about it. So that clarity piece is helping you to sift out what it is you
Mm.
recognize. Now you know, okay, this thing happened to me. So this is why I'm doing it. But what does that mean? Why is it having this impact on me?
Yeah.
What is it? And then once you understand that, that's when the real work starts to come into play. Because that's where a lot of people may stop. They may recognize their reasons why they do things. But sometimes for them, it's more comfortable to stay in that space than to go into the unknown of changing something. When you can blame others, when you can be the victim
Yeah.
for the longest, it's a comfortable space.
Yeah.
One else needs to be the one who changes. And I realized I couldn't stay in that space anymore. I had to take responsibility for me. And that's where the becoming is. For me, the becoming is aligning yourself with who you were designed
Mm.
to be, not
Aligning
what other
yourself.
people
Yeah.
told you to be.
Aligning yourself towards who you want to be, not what others want you to be. And I think it's really lovely being that you've lived through the experience and now you know what the framework is all about beyond just Yeah, beyond just the reading of books and studying of stuff, and now it has become personal. And the fact that you can woke up by heart, woken up suddenly, and they're asking you what is the framework, you can easily say it by heart or into. Yeah, you have gone through the pain and you actually know the pattern, and now it's easy to spill it out compared to you having to look for something that gets to remind you of what the principle and the framework is. Yeah, recognition, clarity, becoming, aligning towards it. Yeah, it's really amazing.
It's embodiment, like you mentioned. It's not just saying something,
Yeah.
it's being willing to live that thing. And that's why I mentioned too, becoming is ongoing. It's not a one and done. You
Mm,
don't suddenly arrive someplace. Life comes in seasons. And so where you need to be at any given point in your seasons determines what's going on there. Sometimes you need the recognition, you need the understanding. You need to see the thing
yeah.
first, the mirror. Sometimes you're in the phase of, okay, I see this, but I don't understand it. What does that mean? And then you can get to that space where I finally see it, I understand it, and I know what I need to do next. That is so much more clearer for me than just kind of abstract
Yeah.
figuring things out. The sound pretty stuff that you like, well, what does that really mean for how I live my life daily?
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So you asked the question now, what am I carrying that was never mine? What is something
Mm,
you personally identified and finally put down?
mm. That's the hardest part when you're the strong one.
Yeah.
People make you
yeah.
feel like you own this. You have taught people to let you know that you should be carrying that stuff. So the thing that really came to mind that I'm carrying was people responsibility to themselves. There's a there's a verse that says we can help each other carry each other's burden, but we can't carry each other's load.
Mm,
And so the burden is helping people get through things that, the day to day, they struggling, with their family, the financing. Well, yeah, you help people through them burdens, but you can't carry their responsibility. I always look at it this way for a person who needs to lose weight. You can help them in their diet. You can help
yeah.
them, eat the donut and stuff like that, but you cannot eat the food for them. That's something that they have to do. That's something that they have to choose. And now that's how I try to sift things. Is this something I can help carry as a burden, support them in, or is this something they need to
Mm.
be carrying themselves a load that they're putting off on me to do? That's how I try to understand, discern the difference.
Oh, amazing. Is this something that could actually lay in heavy hands to help them achieve? Or is it something they need to take personal responsibility towards becoming? Yeah, amazing. Amazing. And also, you talk about achievement becoming a place to hide instead of expression of who someone really is. How did you tell the difference now in your life, in your own life, between accomplishing something and hiding it inside of it?
Mhm. For me, the key piece to that is my why. Why am I trying to achieve this thing?
Mm,
What am I hoping it gives me? And if that thing is coming from any space, like I want to feel useful, I want to
mm,
feel worthy, feel validated, I want to feel accepted, everything that relies on other people's perception of me or acceptance of me, then I know I'm hiding behind it,
mm,
especially if you haven't built up your own right to exist. For so many people, achievement and accomplishment means I'm worthy. That
yeah.
means I've proven that I need love, I'm deserving of love, I've earned my place in your life. And that's you are inherently worthy because you exist. Anything else you do can add to that piece. But you don't need to accomplish that specific thing, especially the things that we define as successful. That does not give you your worth or your value because all of that stuff can be taken away just like that. So many people who have worked so hard for things and lost their house in one night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got fired, laid off. Coming in, you had a job yesterday and now you got your boxes and you're walking out the door. Nothing in this world material is guaranteed to you. So who are you beyond that?
Mm,
How can you start to build up? You talk so much about developing skills. Rarely do we talk about developing qualities.
mm,
And that's where the real you comes through. Anyone can learn Excel, but how many people can learn how to treat people,
yeah.
dignify people when you're leading them, like in the workplace? That's a totally different category that we don't talk about enough.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Who am I beyond the job role? Who am I beyond the title? Who am I beyond the identity I've carved around your job, around success, and around the whole lot of stuff? Because when everything is stripped from you, which I think it's really hard to do it if you haven't built anything significant. Because, and I think this is where more like midlife crisis and every other things get to come into being, especially the fact that their identity is not different from their roles and titles of their jobs and everything. And when everything fall apart, they're like, "Which this is crazy," and I think it's really a whole lot. Yeah, it's really a whole lot. And I think I could remember a particular more like message I was listening to the other time, and the speaker was making reference of the fact that yeah, you might be a songwriter who sings song and everything, but don't take that as a particular rules. Don't take it as the identity that actually defines you. Because when the tough time comes into being, yeah, it's people are going to kind of come around cast word at you. You should have your hymn that you sing those period just to home to yourself, being that things are becoming difficult. Just it was it was a way of surviving beyond what the title has and what each of those particular prizes and everything that comes with it. It's a
Mhm.
lot, and
One of the key questions I think will be really helpful for your audience to kind of ask themselves is, like you mentioned, who am I beyond the roles?
yeah,
But who am I, period? Like, take the role, who am I? And I ask that
mm,
question to so many people I coach, and they start rattling off roles again. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter,
yeah,
I'm a sister, and then hey, let's go back. Let's try it again. Who are you beyond the roles? And so it goes back to those quality pieces. If someone asks me, who am I? Oh, Shante is a person who loves creativity.
mm,
I am spiritually grounded. That is my foundation for everything that I do. I need humility. I need knowledge. I, I just need to learn. Like, I love
yeah,
learning. Those things are my qualities. I fully aligned with my values. I know what I value. When we ask most people, what are your core values? It's like, huh? Like, we don't
yeah, yeah,
we don't
yeah,
we don't know. And so how can we start to live aligned lives when we haven't even identified
mm,
what are the most important
yeah,
things to me? Who I value the most? So starting from that space, who am I? Take it to your qualities.
yeah.
Learn what your values are and then start from there.
Yeah, who am I when I'm not perfect? Yeah, amazing,
Mhm.
amazing. So
Mhm.
for listener who has achieved the life they work for and still feel like something is missing, what is the first thing they need to quit telling themselves about that feeling?
Mm. First off, I love that you asked that question. It does not mean you're ungrateful.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't appreciate what you
Mm,
achieved. It doesn't mean what you achieved is valueless. You put in hard work, you accomplished that thing, you can celebrate that. That's the first thing I want to tell a person because even when I'm speaking to people and they like, I accomplished this thing and I don't know why I wanted it, but it ain't giving me what I thought it would give me. And then they immediately say, I'm not ungrateful. You know what I mean? I appreciate this. But that is over justifying, over explaining this feeling that they have. And the feeling that you have is natural. It's telling you something. It's telling you that there are aspects of your life that you are leaving out of the equation. And you're putting all your eggs in this one basket, thinking this one aspect of your life is going to fulfill all of you. And it's not. Our careers, our achievements is not meant to define all of who we are.
yeah.
And many of us focus on that. We think that. So, one, I would say you're not being ungrateful. What you're feeling is actually in alignment with who you are designed to be. And then, two, it's okay to take a step back and question everything you thought was true, everything you thought was real. It's going to be hard. That's why I called the book
Yeah.
The Emotional Cost of Clarity, because it's going to cost you something.
Yeah.
We think about becoming and we see all the feel good things. We see everybody's, reels on Instagram and whatnot saying how great their life was. But no one ever shows us that in between
Yeah.
space. Unhappy. I am depressed, I am angry, I'm resentful because of all of these things I thought were true and I'm learning they're not, it's gonna cost you something
Yeah.
emotionally. But once you get to that point, you will have the ability to decide where you wanna go next, and that's where the real freedom comes in.
Yeah. The real freedom comes from the fact that, yeah, looking at those particular things, being grateful, yeah, being grateful for those what you have actually more like come to achieve, but still
Yeah.
it's looking inward and yeah, and it's really a whole lot anyway. A whole lot of deep introspection and it's really a whole lot because sometimes detaching yourself from what you have actually accomplished is quite demanding and yeah, it's a lot.
Like, what yeah, it's exactly like you said, and that's why that's one thing I was worried about as I'm starting, to speak in these ways is I don't want people to say, "Okay, she done blew up my whole world
Yeah.
and didn't tell me what to do next."
Yeah.
And just reaffirming people, like, when you hear this, it blew my mind too, it messed up my whole dynamic, but what I appreciated with it is that, once again, it's seasons. Now's
Yeah.
not the time to try to fix yourself and fix everything.
Mm.
You in that season of recognition. Just look at the mirror. Allow yourself to look at the mirror, and that's enough for now. You'll know when it's time to hit that next phase.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you.
Mhm.
So you note that slowing down or setting boundaries can feel like losing part of yourself. Um, what does someone need to quit confusing in order to see boundary as gain rather than loss?
The key to setting boundaries is to understand your why you need to set them.
Mm,
And then there's so many amazing books out there that shows you how to set boundaries, what that looks like. But I find that you're only ready for that space once you know why you need them in the first place.
yeah.
And if you don't understand your patterns, those setting boundaries, usually they aren't gonna last
Yeah.
because you're not hitting the core issue. So I think that's the hardest piece of the boundary building. And weirdly enough, that's my second chapter in the book, not even the last chapter, it's the
Yeah.
second chapter because it's only the beginning of you starting to build boundaries. It's a process. You still got so many more things to
Yeah.
unlock, to cover before you can naturally know what kind of boundaries do I need to set?
Yeah.
Because we can go from one extreme of giving all of ourselves and then to the other extreme of giving nothing because we're like, well, I'm not going to be that person anymore. Everything is balanced. And that's what you want to look for with your boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries. Yeah. Understanding your why, making boundary easier compared to just creating boundary in isolation without you understanding your why. Yeah. This
Mhm.
is really amazing, and thank you so much, Shante, for sharing your heart with us on this conversation. Um, so where can listener find the emotional cost of clarity and the free
So
reflection tools, and how can they reach out to you? And where's the best platform?
mm, you can go directly to my website, shantealexander.com. Of course, you can also find the book on Amazon. Um, Going to my website is even better because you can get some resources that I've created, and you can stay on track and updated with the other books that I'm coming out with that are actually it's a trilogy of emotional cost of clarity. So, the first one is Wrecking Your Life, like we
Yeah.
we just mentioned. The second one is gonna be that reconstruction
Mm,
phase. So, go to my website, signing up, you can find that. You can reach out to me for any coaching that you wanna do, and you can get access to, like, some of my assessments, like people pleasing.
yeah.
Are you a people pleaser? If you are, that's gonna take you right into the book as well. So, anything you need, find me there, and you can follow me also on social media.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Chantel. Yeah, thank you for reminding that clarity also arrive these guys as a breaking point, and that putting down the strong one is not weakness, but the beginning of alignment. It's exactly what this audience need. For my audience who love to reach out, I'll check the show notes. You see the link to our website so that you could actually explore it. Remember that staying in a role that is hollowing you out is never a safe option. Becoming who you actually are is once again a pleasure and honor having the show, Chantel.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah,
And
yeah.